The following is a presentation of IMG, America's home for college sports. Live from Quaker Steak and Lube on US 1 in Edison, this is the Chris Ash Show. Your chance to talk with the head coach of the Scarlet Knights on the Rutgers IMG Sports Network. Tonight's show is brought to you by To be a part of the show, give us a call at 1-877-384-1869. That's 877-384-1869. Now, let's go live to Quaker Steak and Lube in Edison to talk Rutgers football.
And welcome, everybody, to Week 2 of the Chris Ash Show here at Quaker Steak and Lube in Edison on Route 1. Thanks so much for joining us. Another terrific crowd on hand tonight. And also welcome everybody watching on ScarletKnights.com, on RVision, and on Facebook Live as well. And on listening in on WCTC AM 1450. Chris Carlin tonight in for Eric LeGrand, who is on assignment. Our sideline reporter extraordinaire, he is Anthony Fusilli.
You know, it's one thing trying to fill in for you, but I got really big shoes to fill in for tonight.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. And with us as always is the head coach of the Scarlet Knights, and that's Chris Ash. Coach, how are you?
You know, I was doing great until I found out Fooch was here in place of Eric.
What a way to bring down a show.
Well, Coach, first and foremost, I know the thing on everybody's mind to start with is Coach Kill. Everything, we heard from you earlier in the week on it. Everything is fine health-wise. He's doing okay, correct?
Yeah, he's
correct?
doing great. Yeah, he obviously had a medical setback on Sunday, but back to work the next day and recovering. But he's coaching. He's fine and moving around and raising hell is normal.
Coach, how about the emotional that the kids have for him in such a short time, and how they feel about him, and especially now that he's back?
Oh, yeah, the players that play for him, especially the quarterbacks that are with him every single day, you know, have tremendous respect for him. He's a great person, takes great care of him, builds tremendous relationships with him. And obviously, when you see somebody that you care about go through something like that, it's tough. But, you know, it was great for them to see him bounce back. You know, we go through a loss like we did on Saturday. That happens on Sunday. You know, a lot of emotion going on in our building, but our kids are very resilient. They're very tough and gritty. And, you know, Coach Kill demonstrates those same characteristics, too. So it was great to see him bounce back and so quickly, and it helped the players, too.
Our telephone number is 877-384-1869. That's 877-384-1869. You can ask questions to Coach that way. Also, we'll try to get some of your Facebook Live questions in as well. You can tweet us at Rutgers Radio. And if you're in attendance here tonight at Quaker Steak and Lube, just come on up front. Say our man Jimmy Gill in the white Rutgers shirt, and we will get you in line and set to ask Coach a question. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the Eastern Michigan game. Obviously a disappointing loss, 16-13 this past Saturday. Tape review, what did you see? What was in need of the most improvement in your estimation?
Well, I'll just start with just the overall game review. I mean, it was a very disappointing loss. For a number of reasons. Just the number one is we didn't play as good as we can and we should, and we didn't make the improvements in all the areas that we wanted to from week 1 to week 2. I thought we came out week 1. We had great focus, great energy. We executed. We played hard. We were physical. I thought we controlled the line of scrimmage, and we were really excited to build off of that. And unfortunately, that did not happen, and that's on me. I'm the head coach, the leader of the program, and we've got to get back to that. But that's the most disappointing thing is we just didn't go out and play in all 3 phases as good as we can, as good as we know we can, and that we have to as we move forward.
We saw a little bit of glimpse of what Gennari can do late in the game, but it was kind of interesting to see what they did to try to take him out of the punting game. And I was wondering during the game if you were even 10-7 back at the safety position, just hands. What were you thinking about back punt?
Well, you know what their plan was. You know, it's not anything you ever saw on tape, and it's not. You know, we cover a lot of situations and scenarios, but you know, never thought, well, they're going to line up with their offense on 4th down every time and try to punt to keep Gennari off the field. But, you know, the first time they go out there with their offense, well, you got to keep your defense out there. And then the second time it was like 4th and 4, so there's still an opportunity that they could go for it. But you know, once we identified that was their plan, we did get it worked out where we would have been able to put Janarian back if they would have done it again. Kept our defense out on the field and put Janarian back and call a defensive play that we could have defended either an offensive play or field the punt. They didn't do it again, so we didn't get a chance to do it.
When you look at Kyle Bolin, the game numbers were 17 out of 37. It did have a couple of interceptions. You certainly never want to turn the football over. How do you evaluate him right now and how he's handling the game management, everything like that?
Well, Kyle's kind of like the rest of the football team. He's evaluated differently because he's the starting quarterback, and the football team goes as your quarterback goes. But he did some really good things in the first game. Made some mistakes and didn't make the plays we needed him to make in the second game. But he's not the only one. There were a lot of players in all three phases that just did not step up and improve their game from week 1 to week 2, and it's disappointing. I was worried about it during the week of practice, but I thought we'd be able to go out and to get it done on game day, and we didn't. I feel like we've had 2 days of really good practice here where we'll get back on track with our focus and our execution. But that Kyle's no different than the rest of the football team. We just collectively as a team just didn't get it done Saturday.
Coach, they had a very skilled quarterback, and you look at some of the pass interference calls, but what can you do on those, or do you just have to tell you guys to stay aggressive because obviously they're right there in coverage and it could go either way?
They attempted 41 passes. They dropped back to throw the ball 41 times in that game. We had tremendous respect for the quarterback going into the game. He had made a ton of plays all through last year and the first game this year. So a tremendous amount of respect for his arm, his escapability, and the throws that he could make down the field. And, we knew it was going to be a challenge. We knew that he was going to make some throws. But of the 41, as I go back and evaluate it, there are probably 10 that we could have done something a little bit better out of those 41. We had 3 pass interference calls. I don't worry about those that much. 3 pass interference calls out of 41 plays. When we're being aggressive, I'll live with those. But we had a couple mental errors. We could have finished better on a couple of the throws down the field. Honestly, there were some good, really throws and catches. Also, there was a nice one-handed grab on the sideline on a back shoulder fade that they made. When I watched tape a few times, I'm like, wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And that happens. But we do need to be able to finish on those 50-50 balls down the field and get more share of them. But I'm not ever going to complain about our players playing aggressively and being in the right spot. The other guys are on scholarship too. And that quarterback's a really good quarterback.
Fifth-year senior he was. Let's talk about some of the positives out of the game. Once again, our telephone number is 877-384-1869, and you can tweet your questions at Rutgers Radio. I thought the running back production was, again, very solid. This time, over 4 yards a carry, and the carries pretty much split right down the middle between Gus and Robert Martin. Running game in particular, have you been pleased with what you've seen through 2 games?
Well, when you look at the yards per carry, if you're over 4 yards per carry, you're pleased, but it's the inconsistency in the running game that we have to get fixed. Third quarter of the game, we ran the ball pretty good. The other 3 quarters, we did not. And we need to become a consistent running offense, and we can be, and we need to get that done. We did not do it last Saturday, and that hurt us. If we could have done what we did in the third quarter consistently, it would have been a completely different ballgame, and our inability to get that done is what hurt us.
Janarian as a receiver, 8 catches the other day, and he just looks so super confident in his abilities as a receiver. Where have you seen the most growth in his game in that regard?
Well, just overall as a receiver in general. You look back last year, played 3.5 games, not quite 3.5 games. Really the first time he played receiver. He hadn't had a lot of reps here in his career at receiver, so he was really just learning how to play at that point a year ago. He had the injury, got healthy for summer, really worked hard this summer, worked hard in training camp. He's really starting to hit a stride, in my opinion, in terms of becoming a route runner, understanding the offense, understanding defenses, finding the soft spots and zones and how to beat guys in man. I really think right now, if he continues to build on what he's done the first 2 games, he's going to have a big season. We got to keep him healthy. We got to be aware of that. But he's doing some dynamic things in a return game, which we all know he can. But man, you could just feel it at the end of that game. He wanted the ball, and we needed to find ways to get the ball to him. He was going to catch anything that came to him.
The defense gives up an early touchdown, but after that, they really settled in. Only 16 points to a high-energy offense. And the middle linebacker, Deontay Roberts, is really flying on the football. Coach, what do you see with him, the difference between last year and this year?
Well, there's a lot of differences. One, he's bigger, stronger. He's more focused. He understands our defense a lot more. He understands offensive football a lot more, and how they want to try to attack our defense, our front, and what we do. He doesn't play perfect, but man, he plays really hard. And I couldn't say that. He couldn't say that about himself last year all the time. But just overall defensively, I've been pretty pleased with the first 2 games. We still have to play better. We can play better. We're not mistake-free. We're not penalty-free. We're not perfect. And I've never been a part of a perfect game, but we can play better, and we need to play better for us to go out and win football games.
Yep.
But we've made a lot of progress. I don't want to discredit that. I'm really pleased with the progress, but also I know and believe that we're going to continue to get better, and we'll play better football as we go.
You got that turnover, and you want to get a couple more, but that'll help the defense even more.
Yeah, that's big. We got to get more turnovers. I was really the most proud of our defense on the last drive of the game. We threw the interception. Juwan Harris strained to go make the tackle, so the guy didn't run it back for a touchdown, gave us a chance to line up. A few plays later, we're blocking a field goal that gave us the ball back and gave us a chance to go down and either tie the game or win it, and it didn't happen. But to be able to do that, we would not have done that last year. We wouldn't have. And really, really proud of the effort and the resiliency of the guys to be able to stand up and do that.
It's like you often talk about relentless strain. You use that word strain in describing Juwan, and those are the plays that ultimately end up making differences for football teams.
There's no doubt. There was a lot of strain on that particular play to save the touchdown, and then on the field goal block, I mean, it was awesome to watch the effort that our players made. We knocked on their right side, our left, as we look at it, the guard, tackle, tight end back on their backs, with just that relentless effort to get to the football, and we blocked it. Unfortunately, we didn't get the bounce that we wanted, where Blesson Austin could scoop it and take it back and score, but we still gave ourselves an opportunity.
2 guys in particular that fans may not notice right away, but I thought were outstanding for you. First of all, Miles Nash being able to play both sides of the ball and pressed into action. Give me your impression of how he handled himself in a very tight spot.
Well, I'll start with just Miles as the person. Man, he's a completely different guy than he was a year ago. He's really come a long way. He's matured, really becoming committed and invested into our program. We had some very strong and serious conversations when the season was over last year about his place on our team and what his future looked like here, based on what he did last year. And, he decided to stick it out and change his attitude and his approach about football. And he's in a great place right now. And because of that, that's allowed him to help us on both sides of the ball. He made a real selfless move to move over to tight end because we were really thin at that position. We had some injuries going into this game, and he made another very selfless move to come back and help us on defense. And he played some really valuable quality snaps on Saturday on both sides of the ball, and you're really proud of him and where he's at right now.
And a guy like Willington Prevalon, who in the first game batted down 2 passes, had a sack the other day. Boy, his development's got to be exciting for you on the D-line.
Yeah, he's got a chance to really develop to be an outstanding football player here. He's really grown physically. He's about 290 pounds right now. Last year, I think he might have been about 265, to 70 pounds. So he's put on a lot of weight. He's really doing a great job with his fundamentals and techniques. He's doing a great job with his hands, his feet. He's a pretty good pass rusher. So I'm really excited after 2 games of watching that big joker running around. I'm really excited about what the future holds for him.
I'm wondering, Coach, if you could clarify something for us, because our broadcast team, Ray, Eric, and Chris, almost jumped out of the booth on the punt return that they called dead.
Well, I was wrong about it. We'll talk about that in a second.
And I'm just wondering if you could clarify what happened on that play.
Well, the rule is if the returner makes any motion or gesture to stay clear of the ball, everyone thinks it's a fair catch signal, but if you signal safe, you point at the ball, basically you've deemed yourself ineligible to pick it up and run. And that's what Janarian did at the time. He did a safe wave, like trying to signal to stay away from the ball, and then he picked it up, and that is a penalty.
And that's why they blew the play dead.
Yes.
You see, that was what threw us off the most. Is I can't remember the last time we actually saw a play blown dead in the middle of the play like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a new point of emphasis, and when somebody signals a fair catch and then catches it and runs, it's the same thing. Mm-hmm. So any signal or motion like that by the returner, that's what's going to happen.
All right, we'll take our first time out of the night. We'll hit the phones. We'll get the questions in. 877-384-1869, 877-384-1869 for this week's edition of the Chris Ash Show. Rutgers preparing for Morgan State, their third consecutive home game to open up the 2017 season. That is this Saturday at 3:30 at High Point Solution Stadium. Get involved in the program. Sit tight with us. We're at Quaker Steak and Lube here in Edison for this week's edition of the Chris Ash Show.
Need a place to watch all the pro games? Look no further than Quaker Steak and Lube. Best Wings USA on Route 1 in Edison. 50 TVs, great game day specials starting at just $2.50, and the best wings in the USA with over 25 different wing sauces. Enjoy our outdoor patio and bar open all year round. On the way to the game and need something to go? Give us a call, 732-777-WING. We cater events of any size. Watch all the games, have a great time, and enjoy the best wings in the USA. 561 Route 1 in Edison. 732-777-WING.
When you're looking for tickets to that sold-out event, there's only one place to go. TickCity.com, the official secondary ticket partner of Rutgers Athletics. Scarlet Knight fans can save 10% on all orders when you use the discount code Rutgers at checkout. From sporting events to the hottest concerts, Broadway and family shows across the country, all your ticket needs are covered at your fan-friendly ticket source. TickCity.com. That's TickCity.com.
The Chris Ash Show returns after this local timeout. This is the Rutgers IMG Sports Network.
When Samantha was in dire need of a new heart, she turned to RWJ Barnabas Health, who performs more adult heart transplants than any healthcare system on the East Coast.
I'm still here.
Jean cherishes every moment spent with her great-grandkids, thanks to our kidney transplant program that ranks among the nation's top 10.
Still here.
Robert promised his granddaughter he'd make it to her next birthday. Thanks to New Jersey's only lung transplant center, he did.
I'm not going anywhere.
From corneal and pancreatic transplants to heart, kidney, and lung, our patients aren't who they used to be. They're better. Learn more about our transplant centers at Newark Beth Israel Medical Center, St. Barnabas Medical Center, and Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital. Visit rwjbh.org/transplant. RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
All right, a telephone number, 877-384-1869. It is the Chris Ash Show, live from Quaker Steak and Lube on Route 1 in Edison, New Jersey. So, Coach, you've had some of your younger players. It's something that we have talked about here in the first couple of weeks. Your younger players now adapting to not just football, which is what they've been dealing with through the first 5-6 weeks that they were here, but now adding their class schedules, adding all of that. They've had more than a week, almost 2 weeks of it now. How are they handling that, adapting to what the life of a college student athlete is?
It's a challenge, no doubt. I mean, the time demands with being a student is a lot greater than being a high school student, and then being an athlete at the college level with everything that we ask them to do. It's a very challenging schedule. It does take some time to get into a routine and feel comfortable with that routine and be able to manage your day. And I think for the most part, we've got a lot of guys that are doing a great job with it. Not all of them. They're struggling in transition, like most freshmen do for a few weeks. But I'm very proud and pleased with the majority of the freshmen, how they're handling their business right now.
How about on the field, the freshmen? You're playing a lot of young guys. And what's the development from, let's say, game 1 to game 2 in your eyes?
It's tough to say right now because, again, I just didn't feel like our football team got better, from week 1 to week 2, and that includes the freshmen. But they're doing some great things. They're out there working extremely hard. They're learning either the offense, defense, or the ones that are playing on special teams. And every day is a new opportunity to learn and get better and grow and help our football team. So I'm really pleased about that.
With younger guys like that, when you're a coach and you decide that we're going to be best served playing a good amount of them, is it just a case where you have to accept the growth on the job, so to speak? They're going to make some mistakes along the way.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, for some positions, we don't have a choice. That's all we have. So we knew that there would be some growing pains with some of the guys, and that it is what it is. I mean, that's where we're at, and at certain spots. But our job is just to continue to push and motivate, and keep coaching and keep developing every single opportunity that we get. We can't do it enough, and right now that's where we're at. And I really like the progress that a lot of players are showing.
How about at the wide receiver position with the young guys? Are you confident that they're not thinking and they're starting to know where they're supposed to be and start to make some plays?
No, they get a little bit better every day. They're not where they need to be by any means. Nobody's going to be after practicing for whatever 5 weeks it's been or 6 weeks it's been. You're not going to master the offense. You're not going to master the position, the fundamentals, and all the things that go into it, and be as good as you could potentially be, after that short amount of time. The only thing we keep talking about with all of our players and everybody in our program is just get better every day. Be better tomorrow than you were today, and just keep getting better and embrace that process, embrace the grind, and stay focused, on the moment. And that's what we ask them to do, and that's what they're trying to do that.
When you're moving into a game like this with Morgan State, you talked about quite a bit how it's about you. No matter who the opponent is, it's about your own guys. You look around the nation, you've seen upsets happen. You've seen Howard go on the road out of the MEAC and have some success. Do you even acknowledge any of that kind of stuff, or is it just a consistent message of worry about yourselves and how you play?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. I mean, it is mostly about our consistent message, our themes, our improvement, our process, to improvement. But we will recognize and mention some of those other things that happen around the landscape of college football. They're teachable moments, and we wouldn't be doing our job if we didn't use those moments to teach our players.
Just as an aside, as a broad kind of look at the game right now, is there a smaller line or a not as wide of a line of demarcation now between the Power 5 conferences and some of the conferences beneath it, because we are seeing more of these upsets happen? Is it just, guys that find their way to smaller level schools that have better ability than maybe they get credit for?
Well, I mean, there's still a gap that exists.
Sure.
But the difference is when you play a school that's in a group of five, not a Power 5 school, I mean, a lot of times it's their Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They do everything they can to get up for that particular game, and they give it their best. And, when you do that and the other team doesn't, everybody has an opportunity to win. And that's what you see a lot of times when you see those types of matchups and those things happen. They go out and they play outstanding football, and they're highly motivated, and they want to go out and prove people wrong.
And the other thing you see is an awful lot of seniors. You see a lot of guys who have been there for a few years. For instance, Roback last week, a fifth-year senior quarterback, and there's a lot more experience on that level, it seems.
Well, yeah, I mean, in this day and age, there's so many people who want to leave college football early to go chase their dreams in the NFL, but I really believe the best teams are the one that have more 4- and fifth-year seniors on their football team. They've been developed, they're experienced, they know how to handle the moment, and that's what really, what we want to strive to get to is when we're playing a lot of 4th and 5th-year players in your program, and then you have a real chance for success. And I really like the guys we got right now, and I can tell you right now I'm as positive and upbeat and excited about our football team as I've ever been. Because of the way that we bounced back. We had a bad event last Saturday. I'm not going to deny that, but the way this team's bounced back, I'm really excited about what we can do as we continue to move forward, and we got to avoid those type of letdowns.
Chris, I was listening to Buck Showalter, the Baltimore manager, talking about his favorite college team, Mississippi State, and they were playing against a smaller school, and he said, I'm worried when you get those schools early because they don't have the depth. So if you get them in the middle or the end of the season, but early, everybody's healthy, those teams are dangerous. And I remember him saying that, and that goes to your point, Chris, about the experience that those schools have. And obviously, you don't take them lightly. They're talented.
Yeah. Yeah. Chris Creighton there has done a great job at Eastern Michigan.
Well, now as you prepare for Morgan State this week, tell us a little bit about what we can expect. They're out of the MEAC. It's a conference that Rutgers has faced here the last few years. What have you seen from the Bears?
Well, offensively, they're a spread offense. A lot of 3 and 4 wide receiver sets. They will run the ball. They got an athletic quarterback who's was at one time a Mississippi State player at quarterback. Big, strong kid. Can make some plays with his arm and his feet. Defensively, they're a pressure defense. A lot of snaps during the game. They'll have all 11 players within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. You just don't see that very often. They'll gamble, and that can be a struggle offensively because you're not quite sure where they're going to line up or where they're coming from, and they play an in-your-face style of defense. And it's really a feast or famine. They'll get some negative yardage plays, and they'll give up a bunch of big plays also. But again, like you mentioned before, this game's about us. We need to know our opponent. We need to practice against their offense, defense, and special teams. But we've got to show up with tremendous focus and energy and go out and execute at a high level.
Let's take our first phone call, 877-384-1869, 877-384-1869. Let's hit Mike in Paramus. Mike, you're on the Chris Ash Show. How are you?
Very well. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing great, Mike.
Well, even better to hear that Coach Kill is doing much better, so happy to hear about that. You talked a little bit about preparation for these games, and I was just curious to see, have you seen a difference in the preparation of your players from last year to this year with the new practice facility, the new practice field, the new weight room? Have you seen a level of difference between the way you guys are able to prepare compared from last year to this year?
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of improvement in a lot of areas. Our off season was a lot better. Our summer was a lot better. I thought we had a very productive training camp leading up to the Washington game. I thought we had a great week and a half of preparation to prepare for them. I was disappointed last week in our preparation. I think we bounced back and had a great Tuesday and Wednesday practice today. But the practice field definitely makes a huge difference in helping keep our guys fresh. The weight room, obviously, year-round is a great asset for us to train and develop our players and keep them healthy also. So, yeah, I mean, I think just overall, the way we do business and the way we want our players to prepare and hopefully get to their best by Saturday, they bought in and they understand it and are trying to do it.
Yeah, great to hear. Thanks a lot, Coach.
Yep, thank you.
Appreciate it, Mike. I didn't realize it was quite at this level until the Marco Battaglia practice facility opened up. I was talking to Jeff Towers a few weeks ago. He was describing underneath what you have in terms of a drainage system and how much you can clear out of there when it does rain so quickly. That's got to be a huge advantage to not be hampered as much by what the weather holds or anything like that. You've got the bubble, but certainly you prefer to be out there in the live conditions as much as you can be.
Yeah, especially in training camp and in spring ball, you need to go out and practice in the elements. And we did that several times during training camp. We were fortunate to have probably about 3 or 4 days of rain where we could go out, and some of it was light, some of it was heavy. But to be able to have the drainage that we have in that field, to be able to keep the surface dry basically is tremendous. And the thing you worry about as a coach, you need to go out and practice in rain. You got to be able to deal with the wet balls and all that stuff. But you worry about injuries when the grass gets wet and if you're slipping and sliding a lot. And because of that new field, we were able to do that and feel good about our player safety and trying to prevent injuries.
I thought it was pretty neat the first game as you guys walked in on a Scarlet Walk, walking past that facility with the big scoreboard. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, they did a nice job. There's no doubt.
That big screen is something to be sure. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we will visit with one of your assistants. Before we do, I'll ask you about him. Shane Burnham, your defensive line coach. Describe him in a few words before he steps to the microphone.
Well, he won't talk as much as AJ. He'll eat just as much. You might not understand some of the things he says with his southern accent. Other than that, he's pretty good. Where you at, Shane?
He's right there with his daughter right there ready to go.
Yeah, it's good.
Outstanding. All right, and hopefully in just a bit we will also be joined, I believe Sebastian Joseph Day is coming by as well.
Great, yeah.
All right. Hey, boy, that block was something. You were not kidding about blocking the kick the other day with the extra point. Or not extra point, the field goal.
Just real quick about Sebastian. I'll tell you, he's playing at a high level right now. Last year we thought he could be a good player. He didn't play as good as he could have. We really challenged him here this offseason and this summer in training camp, and I'll tell you, he's responded. He's a tremendous leader. I don't care if he's got a title of a captain or not. He's a tremendous leader on this football team. He's earning a ton of respect from everybody in the program with his play and the way he's practicing right now. Couldn't be prouder for him in where he's at right now.
Great job by the D-line coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll talk more about Sebastian with Shane Burnham here momentarily. We will take your calls as well, 877-384-1869, 877-384-1869. You can also tweet your questions for Coach Ash at Rutgers Radio. That's at Rutgers Radio. From Quaker Steak and Lube in Edison, you're listening to The Chris Ash Show.
Events of any size. Watch all the games, have a great time, and enjoy the best wings in the USA. 561 Route 1 in Edison. 732-777-WING.
Download the all-new Rutgers Game Day app today. Up-to-the-minute news sent right to your phone. Interactive game updates, official sideline gear, live stats, free live audio, comprehensive game day maps, real-time social streams, and more. Available in the App Store and Google Play. Get all the latest in everything Scarlet Knights athletics.
He's got it for the Rutgers touchdown.
The Rutgers Game Day app. Download today.
We have returned to Quaker Steak and Lube in Edison for this week's edition of the Chris Ash Show. Chris Carlin, Anthony Fusilli filling in this week for Eric LeGrand, and Rutgers defensive line coach Shane Burnham. Good enough to give us some time down here. Coach, how are you?
I'm great. How are you guys this evening? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I guess I'll start with, since I asked Coach Ash for a few words on you, I'll ask you the same for a few words on him, and what's it like working for Chris Ash?
Well, you know he signs my checks, right?
I do know that,
okay.
Yeah. No, I was confident what the answer is going to be.
Yeah, no. I've known Chris for a long time. I shared a staff room with Chris on the defensive side of the ball at Iowa State, so I had a great idea of what I was going to get working for Chris, and it's been exactly what I thought. You know, very detailed guy. Got a great plan, very well thought out, and leaves no stone unturned at all. I mean, everything is thought of in his program, so I was excited to be a part of that, and that's what it's been since I've been here.
I don't know how much you knew about New Jersey, but coming from Tallahassee, what has the adjustment been like? You feel a little bit more familiar now with the traffic and how to drive around here?
Yeah, you know, I know what a jug handle is now. You know, so I'm good. It's been a pleasant surprise. My wife and kids are here. We had no clue what to expect, but our school that we found for our kids, the community, it's all been fantastic. So we're getting adjusted very well.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some of your players and how they've developed. And we'll start with Sebastian, who just came in, and he'll join us here in just a little bit. Coach was just extolling his virtues and the fact that he has really become a superior leader for this team, and his game has really developed this season. Tell me about where that's happened the most, where he's made a real impact here through this offseason into this year.
Sure. Well, I think with Sebastian, and he's sitting there, I knew Miss Rachel would be here with him. Hello, Miss Rachel. But Sebastian, he comes every day since we've been here, and he's just steady in his approach, the way he works. He's not outworked by anybody on our club. And I think most people who do that, you know, in time, they do find success. He got better as the season went on last year. I think the last 2 weeks, he's played his best most complete games since we've been here, week 1 and week 2. You know, I told him in camp, I said, you know, don't deviate from what you're doing, as the way you lead by example, the way you lead vocally. But what he is, he's a steady guy, a lot like maybe JPO was when I got here last year. I'm sure some of that rubbed off on him, a lot like Darnell Davis. But what Sebastian gives us is a great leadership by example. He works every day. The production is showing up. The kids respect the way he plays. And he's done a fantastic job leading for us.
How valuable is that? I mean, he was around Darius. He was around JPO last year. And now you have some young linemen in his program, and he's showing them the way.
Yeah, I told him, when you leave here, what you leave behind is a legacy, and part of that legacy is how the young kids underneath you come up. So I think it's, Mike Tverdoff, T1 Mason, Jayon Dugan, Brendan Borden, all those guys. When I can say, look, not only is he a starter, the way he works allows him to have this success. It allows us to get buy-in. And I got several guys in my room that are like Sebastian. So for me, those young guys have a lot of examples to look up to every day, and how to approach the film study, how to approach the weight room, practice, all those things. And I've got several examples besides Sebastian, but that's very important when you're talking about trying to grow a culture in a program. These are the kind of guys you grow it with.
Darnell Davis, I think that part of the stadium is still rocking from the hit that he delivered in Game 1 on Jake Browning. Yeah. But, he's a guy that flies a little bit under the radar in the program because he has really developed, at least to the outside, he has really developed nicely over the last couple of years. But he's not a guy that people talked a whole lot about. But, boy, his speed and his ability and his knowledge really shows on the field.
The work ethic, all the things we talked about, the preparation, much like Sebastian. What you look at Darnell, he's a little bit shorter than what you want, maybe not as fast as maybe what you want. But I go back to last year, Quanzell gets hurt, he gets forced into a starting role, and you look at a lot of the big plays we had on defense, whether it was the interception that we got in the back of the end zone versus Illinois when he hit the quarterback, the scoop and score at Indiana, the second fumble he caused late in the game, the recovered fumble at Michigan. And there's probably more that I'm not thinking of. But Darnell, because he works and prepares, he just ends up around the football. Good things happen for him because of the way he works. And, you go back to that hit. I texted him late that night, that Friday night, and I said, I'm so jealous. Anybody that's played the game of football dreams of that kind of shot. And he'll be on highlight reels for, years. But just an unbelievable play by him to separate the quarterback from the football. But, yeah, Darnell is, one of my favorite guys I've coached in the last 19 years. Just because of his attitude and the way he leads. Him and Sebastian both in my room last year, JPO, Quanzell, Darius. This year, Sebastian and Darnell. I've had some, lucky, good fortune to walk into some great leaders in that room.
Coach, I was impressed with Miles Nash out of Timber Creek. If you can give us a little insight. I mean, did you have an inkling during the week that he might have to play? Because he goes in there and he's playing both ways, and he's playing on a high level, and I'm like, this is incredible.
No, he did a good job for us. He probably played better than I thought he would. We'd worked him there during camp, for a short period of time, knowing that might be something we'd have to go to. He has a desire to play on both sides of the ball. But, yeah, I was impressed, to handle two game plans. You got to learn the offensive game plan. You have to learn our game plan. This week we'll give him a little bit more. Last week it was, hey, learn first and second down, make sure we're good there. This week, we'll feed you third down, and you'll start building. But, yeah, that was a great surprise for us. He played there last year, so I knew, what Nash could do, but on short notice to come out of the bullpen, so to speak. And he played well enough that I think, you'll continue to see him get reps. He thinks he's Jabril Peppers or, one of these two-way guys.
How do you prepare him for that, especially in such a short period of time? Because his head's swimming, I'm sure, with the offensive game plan, too.
Yeah, a lot of extra time on his part, coming in early, staying late after practice. We met this morning. He's coming back tomorrow. It's just a great individual amount of, time and commitment and sacrifice on his end to manage his time with class, with workouts. But, I give Miles all the credit. He's been just very studious and very, devoted to learning the game plan and spending time with it.
Willington Prevalon, I asked Coach about him the other day. Where did he need to improve the most, and how did he go about earning your trust to get in that rotation, and now it's paying off with his production so far?
Will's kind of off the field. He's kind of a goofy guy, but he's one of those guys, when I say goofy, not in a bad way, he's just, young kid, but you put him on the field, and he's been this way since day one. He likes playing football. He plays with a personality. He wants to be physical. he's got great length, and now he's finally, Coach Parker and those guys have developed him. He's 290 pounds. He's 6'5". He looks skinny, but he's got a 44-inch waist. I mean, he's a big dude, and but he, again, a guy that's steady in his approach. He likes practice. He enjoys, studying the game. And I put him out there, his first action was against Washington. He showed up, which didn't surprise me. He's shown up all during spring and all during camp. And then I played him, obviously started last week, and I really thought he played well, had more production. Will's got, 3 years of football left, and I couldn't be more excited about, what he brings to the table.
Another young guy out of Piscataway, your defensive end, Lamora. Tell us about him. And he's making some plays for you.
Now, he was a guy when we first got here. We got him on tape. I think he was maybe even driving to Temple when we got him to flip. He was almost on campus, but he can run. He's got length. We thought we could fill him out. He's up to 240. Elam, he doesn't say boo. I mean, he doesn't say a word. But I'll be honest with you, he's kind of surprised me that he's developed like he has. I thought he had a good spring. I thought he had a good camp. He hadn't played as much. He's splitting some time with Kamoko, and Kamoko gets the majority of the reps. But Elam, he can run. That's something when we saw the tape when he came out of school, that's what stuck out, length and runs. And that's what you're always trying to find at those outside linebacker, overhang positions. And I think you'll see him because he can run. He'll be able to show up definitely in the pass game. But he also has for a 240-pound kid, he plays with a lot of lead in his pencil and does a good job getting his hands on people, and he's done a good job for us.
Lead in his pencil.
One or two more for Rutgers defensive line coach Shane Burnham, who joins us here on the Chris Ash Show at Quaker Steak and Lube in Edison. What's the ideal Shane Burnham defensive lineman look like?
I think, honestly, Chris, they come in all different shapes and sizes. I think, in a perfect world, an inside guy is, he's got short lower half, all right, with a big wide bottom. He's got great length, long torso, long arms. You're looking for guys that have a wingspan greater than their height, so they can play long. One inside guys because we do move in the nature of our defense. I'm always looking for guys that have what I'd say an explosive first step. They're, quick twitch, can bend. Outside, you're not looking for, as much size. I'm looking for more length. T1 Mason, Mike Tverdoff. Those are the kind of guys I'd like to recruit that we signed last year. 6'4", 6'5", 200. And, Mike's 250 pounds now. T1's up to 230 something. Those guys are going to be big, long defensive ends. But more than that, what I'm looking for, and it's hard to get it off the tape. I love having them in camp. I love the in-person evaluation. You're looking for a personality. I mean, I think it takes a certain type of guy, Chris, to go in there and compete and know that, you're leaning on, 600, 300 pounds every snap. You're that far apart. It happens really fast. You got to be a tough dude to go in there and play, and it's a second effort position. And that's what you're trying to find on tape, beyond the obvious measurables and athletic ability. I'm looking for a personality of, a guy that, embraces the grind and what it is inside and up front.
You talked about Sebastian's development, but your other two linemen, and one obviously is hurt right now in Badeke, and Wilkins have seemed to also mature.
Yeah, John, I told John last year, I really thought he had, we didn't play him much, as much as I probably should have. He was, Darius was out there, and you didn't want to take Darius off the field if you could help it, RJPO, for that matter. But I thought he got better. Maryland last year he played well. Indiana last year he played well if you watch his snaps. So what he's done has been no surprise. I hate he got hurt, because, he's kind of like Will, and Sebastian. He doesn't say anything. He just comes to work every day. But not a surprise at all. I mean, he's heavy-handed off the ball. He's really good with his hands. He does a great job playing with pad level. But, I can't wait to get him back, and I hope it's sooner rather than later because I want him back bad. So.
And Wilkins was the other one.
Yeah, and Kevin, Kevin is 313, 10-pound guy. If you watch him go through the bags and the agiles, Kevin's got as much ability as anybody up front. I think Sebastian and those guys would tell you the same. Kevin's very athletic. He's got 2 years of football left. He's actually played a lot of ball. I think he's played really steady the first 2 weeks. I don't know that the production, necessarily shows, but, last week he got hurt, went back out there, finished the game. He's been out there at practice every day. It's important to Kevin. And I do think him and John, and the four eyes out there, and then Sebastian in the middle. I got 313 with Kevin. Sebastian, a couple wings tonight, he'll probably be 310. And then John, is about 300 pounds. And we got a lot of size when we play those first three up there. Will's coming in at 290. We talked about Darnell, Julius Turner, who we have not talked about. Played 12 snaps first week, 25 snaps week 2. I think we got some depth, that I feel good about right now.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming down. You get a chance to hang out now with your wife and your beautiful family, and we appreciate the fact that you're able to spend some time with us tonight.
Appreciate it, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Rutgers defensive line coach Shane Burnham, one of his players on that D-line, Sebastian Joseph Day, joins us next. It is the Chris Ash Show, live from Quaker Steak and Lube in Edison. Stay with us.
Need a place to watch all the pro games? Look no further than Quaker Steak and Lube. Best Wings USA on Route 1 in Edison. 50 TVs, great game day specials starting at just $2.50, and the best wings in the USA with over 25 different wing sauces. Enjoy our outdoor patio and bar open all year round. On the way to the game and need something to go? Give us a call, 732-777-WING. We cater events of any size. Watch all the games, have a great time, and enjoy the best wings in the USA. 561 Route 1 in Edison. 732-777-WING.
For Rutgers fans, Saturday is game day. For business owners, it's another day in your work week. UPS gets that, and that's why they offer Saturday delivery, so you can keep things running smoothly, even while your customers drop everything for the game. Stay on top of your game. Ship with UPS, official logistics company of Rutgers Athletics.
The Chris Ash Show returns after this local timeout. This is the Rutgers IMG Sports Network.
You're on the couch watching the game, and your friend hands you an ice-cold bottle of Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. This is a big moment. That's the sound you love. And that new and improved taste? Yeah, that's the refreshing, delicious, real Coca-Cola taste that you just can't get enough of. All this with zero sugar and 0 calories. Perfection. And then, touchdown! Refresh your game day with the new and improved taste of Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. Taste the feeling.
Last time on College Sports Now.
You have to have dessert. When you get a full belly, all right, and I use this with my kids will tell me this, there's always a little space to fit a little creme brulee around. Now that it's like a pudding style with a little glaze on top. It fits in all of the nooks and crannies left in your belly.
Listen to College Sports Now, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern Time, Monday through Friday, exclusively on TuneIn, and follow along on Twitter at CSNowTweets. TuneIn, your everything audio app.
We have returned to Quaker Steak and Lube in Edison for the Chris Ash Show, and right here on 1450 WCTC New Brunswick, and of course on ScarletKnights.com. Joining us now, Rutgers defensive lineman, senior Sebastian Joseph Day. What's up?
Hello, how you guys doing? Thank you for having me.
We're great. Thanks for coming down. First of all, this being in front of the mic is something that you may want to do beyond playing football. Is that accurate?
Yeah, honestly, it's a dream of mine. I want to follow in your footsteps.
Yeah. Follow Fooch. You'll do much better with Fooch. But let's talk about you off the field, first of all. Your Rutgers experience, what that's been like for you over the last couple of years. When you think about being a Rutgers student-athlete, what comes to mind?
Oh, just hard work and dedication, man. Just being able to focus yourself on something each and every day. And just achieving it, having a great support system around you as well to help you, fulfill those goals each and every year. And that's what I define it as.
The thing I enjoy is to see how you've grown and matured since you first got here, and your father, who's at every game, and how proud he is of you. And I had a feeling you were going to be a real good kid. I just didn't know you would have this mean streak in you. So tell us about that.
No, I don't have a mean streak, man. Shout out to my father. He's always supporting me, and I only have the mean streak when I play. That's really it.
Well, that's when you need it.
Yeah, that's the only time I need it. Besides that, I don't have a mean streak, man.
Well, what's your mentality when you're lining up? Because when we see you, you always seem to have a smile on your face.
Yeah. Well, my mentality is just I got to beat the guy across from me. Obviously, it's not in those nicer words, but that's probably what's going on in my head.
I thought it was pretty cool that your dad, moved the family from Mattawan to Stroudsburg, and he decided he was going to take a 2-hour trip to work in the city just so that your family could have a better life.
Yeah, exactly, and that's where a lot of my mentality comes from with my parents. My dad, he sacrifices everything for his family, and he works hard each and every day. He puts on a suit each and every day, rides the bus 2 hours, goes in the city, and then takes it back in Strasburg, PA. And growing up seeing something like that, it's a great influence to have in your life. It teaches you that things don't come easy, that you have to work hard and strive for everything you want. And like I said, shout out to my father. He's been a great influence for me.
We've heard from both of your coaches, your head coach and your position coach, about your improvement this offseason. When you started the offseason, did you feel like there was a chip on your shoulder? How did you approach it? Because it is pretty visible that you have been able to make a major jump here. Me and Coach Ash had a lot of conversations during the offseason and things I needed to prove on. So, I just had a big chip on my shoulder. Coach Parker helped me a lot. The whole strength staff helped me a lot with that. I did a lot of extra hunt work. I did a lot of extra work in the weight room, stuff like that. Like I said, I know it wouldn't be easy, so I just put the time in, and it's showing right now. But obviously, I still want to play better and help our team win. So.
I like the way you chased around Darius and JPO the last 2 years to try to absorb everything that they were doing. And now, how are you passing that on to the younger guys?
I just try to be that kind of like old man to the younger guys. I don't try to force myself upon anyone, but when needed, I try to give my input. I try to help out when I see someone needs help, stuff like that. And like I said, Darius and JPO taught me so much. And yes, I made sure I hung around them because there's people in your life that have this similar like characteristics and beliefs as you do, and I saw that in those two guys, and a lot of credit goes to them with the way I am right now.
Tell us about the blocked field goal the other day and how that play unfolded.
Oh, okay. So this is actually really funny. So so I was on the line. And I looked next to Kevin Wilkins. I was like, Kevin, switch with Willington, because we're gonna block this field goal. And Kevin looked at me and was like, no. And I was like, Kevin, what do you mean? I was like, switch with me. I'm telling you, we're gonna block this field goal. If you come with me, we're gonna block this field goal. And he said, nah. I was like, I don't want to get in trouble with Coach. I don't want to get in trouble for not running the right field goal. And I was like, all right, fine, I'll just do it myself. and I was like, Will, push as hard as you can. He looked at me, he's like, all right. And then credit goes out to Komoko and Will, because I didn't do it myself at all. It was if it wasn't for Will and Komoko pushing the forehands as hard as they could, I wouldn't have been able to get through there. So. Credit goes out to them. They're the real reason why I blocked that.
Now you chased down quarterbacks. What was that feeling like, blocking a kick?
It was, I don't know. Honestly, I was so mad that I honestly expected it to happen. I was really determined. I was just in that state of mind. I was like, Will, we're gonna block. I told him, we're gonna block this field goal. But
now, will the guys think you're a prophet?
No, not at all. Just like I said, I just want our team to win. I just want to help the team win the best I can, and whatever it may be, I just try to help and put myself in that position to do.
All right, last one. You're a social media star.
No.
No. Let's put it this way: you're not shy on social media. If you follow Sebastian on Instagram, and it's mostly Instagram for you, right?
Yeah.
You love the Insta story. You can't get enough of the Insta story.
Yeah. I really enjoy taking photos. So I love Instagram because, there's always unique and cool photos on there. And yeah. So,
put it this way. You do get some insight into you.
Yeah, for sure. I'm a living guy, caring guy.
Listen, we appreciate you coming down tonight, and continued success this season.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I got to start to follow you.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
You do.
Team follow back.
I got to follow you.
We'll take a timeout. Coach Ash will rejoin us in just a moment. You're listening to The Chris Ash Show.
When Samantha was in dire need of a new heart, she turned to RWJ Barnabas Health, who performs more adult heart transplants than any healthcare system on the East Coast.
I'm still here.
Jean cherishes every moment spent with her great-grandkids, thanks to our kidney transplant program that ranks among the nation's top 10.
Still here.
Robert promised his granddaughter he'd make it to her next birthday. Thanks to New Jersey's only lung transplant center, he did.
I'm not going anywhere.
From corneal and pancreatic transplants to heart, kidney, and lung, our patients aren't who they used to be. They're better. Learn more about our transplant centers at Newark Beth Israel Medical Center, St. Barnabas Medical Center, and Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital. Visit rwjbh.org/transplant. RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
The Chris Ash Show returns after this local timeout. This is the Rutgers IMG Sports Network.
Need a place to watch all the pro games? Look no further than Quaker Steak and Lube. Best Wings USA on Route 1 in Edison. 50 TVs, great game day specials starting at just $2.50, and the best wings in the USA with over 25 different wing sauces. Enjoy our outdoor patio and bar open all year round. On the way to the game and need something to go? Give us a call, 732-777-WING. We cater events of any size. Watch all the games, have a great time, and enjoy the best wings in the USA. 561 Route 1 in Edison. 732-777-WING.
When you're looking for tickets to that sold-out event, there's only one place to go. TickCity.com, the official secondary ticket partner of Rutgers Athletics. Scarlet Knight fans can save 10% on all orders when you use the discount code Rutgers at checkout. From sporting events to the hottest concerts, Broadway and family shows across the country, all your ticket needs are covered at your fan-friendly ticket source. TickCity.com. That's TIXCITY.com.
Couple of minutes left in this week's edition of the Chris Ash Show, live from Quaker Steak and Lube here in Edison. First of all, our guy is here every week. Charlie, what's going on?
Hi, Coach. How are you?
I'm great. How about yourself?
Great. Coach, is Coach Kill going to be on the sideline or in the booth this weekend?
He'll be on the sideline.
Okay. And secondly, do your quarterbacks ever have the opportunity to call their own plays, or is it always coming from the booth or the sideline end? Do they ever have the opportunity to check down?
Well, they at times have the opportunity to call one of two plays out on the side or out on the field based on what they see. Very rarely do they just line up and say, hey, I'm going to call my own play. We're not to that point yet. We'd love to have a quarterback that could do that, and I think Kyle has the maturity and knowledge to potentially do that as we go down the road.
Good luck this weekend.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
This weekend at 3:30 on Saturday, Rutgers taking on Morgan State at High Point Solution Stadium, and it's Military Appreciation Day. More than 5,700 downloads on those tickets and free admission for members of the military. And, Coach, I know it's such an important part of this program to be able to recognize the contributions of those who sacrifice so much for our freedom in this country, and it means a lot to you to be able to do so.
Yeah, it means everything to our football program, our department, to be able to recognize the people that make the sacrifices for us to do what we do every single day. It's really impressive, and it's going to be a great day, and really happy that we get a chance to do that.
I thought it was a great story. Bless on Austin out of Grand Street, his grandmother served in the military, and I was like, that's pretty cool. You know, so it'll be an emotional day for him also.
Yeah, very cool, and an excellent opportunity to honor those who sacrifice so much. And as far as your football team, couple of things that you're looking for in particular this week, and I'm guessing that number one is going to be consistency.
Well, yeah, it's just our challenge, the mystery for our football team is how do we get the same team to show up each week and give the same effort, same execution, same energy, and do it consistently for 4 quarters. That's our mission. That's our goal. It's what we work to strive to get to every single day.
Coach, good luck on Saturday.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That'll do it for this edition of the Chris Ash Show, live from Quaker Steak and Lube. Our thanks to our producer-engineer, Paul Schrager from RVision, Colin Osborne, Tim DeMartin, and Morgan Segua Dolce. I got it right.
Nice
okay.
Shot, nice shot.
And then Hasim Phillips and Jimmy Gill, of course, from Rutgers Sports Information. And Fooch, thanks for coming down and filling in for E this week.
I had a great time.
We appreciate it.
Did a great job.
Wow. Does that mean I get to come back?
No, I don't know about that. Eric likes these mozzarella sticks too much.
For the coach, Chris Ash, and Fooch, and our entire crew, Chris Carlin speaking. Thanks, everybody, and have a good night. We'll see you Saturday, High Point Solution Stadium. It's Rutgers and Morgan State. Have a good rest of your week.
You've been listening to The Chris Ash Show on the Rutgers IMG Sports Network. Join us throughout the season from Quaker Steak and Lube on US 1 in Edison to hear from the head football coach of the Scarlet Knights.